And I was on the airplane. I said, God, I want you to talk to me about this new year. I want you to talk to me about the decade. I don't plan on sharing it with anybody. I just want to know, what are you saying to me? And here's what God said. He said, Hank, he said, this will be known as the decade of difference. It will start off very different, but
Wow.
that is not how it's going to wind up. Well, I knew that he was telling me something amazing, because on February 12th of 2019, so a few months before this, in August that I'm speaking of, my wife was coming home from the office. It was 2 days before Valentine's Day, and I wanted to make the house look nice. I try to be a good husband. And I was wiping a spot on the, what do they call that thing? I think it's a cooktop, right? The thing, not the oven, cooktop.
Yeah.
And as I was wiping it, I shot out into a vision and went 12 years into the future. Now, I'm not setting dates. I'm not here to predict, when Jesus is coming back and all of that. I'm just simply saying I saw the future. So I can only prophesy where I've been and what I've seen. I started to see in that February 12th vision that this decade was going to start off really weird. It was very strange. It was so strange, Larry, I couldn't make it out. I couldn't interpret it. And I told my wife, I said, Brenda, this year is going to be weird. It's going to be strange. It's going to be harsh. It was like shaking. Everything was being shaken around me. And so I was at a conference in September. So that would be a few months after that February 12th vision, and 1 month after that August time with Brother Copeland. I was in a conference, and all of a sudden I began to prophesy about plagues and pestilence and this new year. And God began to say that this year would start off very harsh, talked about plagues, and he talked about the decade of difference, but it would start off harsh. And he said, I'll give you a prophetic analogy. It's why Jesus said, as in the days of Noah. Okay, that was a literal event with a prophetic analogy. So he said, I want you to give a prophetic analogy to the people of how this decade is going to start off. I said, okay. And I prophesied this out. September of last year, there's a specific prophecy, September 5th, about the plagues and about the harshness of this new decade. He said, talk about Israel and Egypt and the difference that I put between them, and how there were plagues and it was harsh. And he said, that's not, however, how it's going to end up. He said, just like I brought a nation through, I will bring this nation and the earth through this. And remember, there were 10 plagues, but 10 times God said something to them. For every plague, he said, the earth will know that I'm the Lord. And so that's how, even though we've had plagues and things happening, we are about to see, and this earth is about to know that he is the Lord. And so my point of all of this, in my long drawn out explanation, is the fact that God was speaking about this decade. And it was so much, in fact, that I didn't even know until somebody brought back to my attention that our ministry, in fact, had prophesied about the plagues, about the harshness of this season. But Larry, that wasn't my focus. My focus was, I want to hear from God, and I want to be able to give the revelation to the people.
Yeah, I love that. Well, and again, considering your time, Pastor, I mean, we could be on this for hours. I mean, this is amazing. That's how time flies when you're having fun. Yeah. Well, Throne Room Prophecy is the name of the book. It's available now. And honestly, this to me is ideal, not just for prophets, for every believer. I mean, this will be a huge resource and handbook to somebody who operates in the office of a prophet, but to every and any believer, because you're all prophetic. We all hear the Holy Spirit. And I believe this is like Pastor Hank sitting and mentoring you as a father in the faith, because I know your heart, Pastor Hank, and the desire is to raise up a generation of prophetic people, of people who can hear the voice of God. But I love what you were sharing, and I know this is your heart. It's above all, we are not looking to give the latest and the greatest prophetic word. We're not looking to become famous and celebrities and have stuff shared and viewed. All of that's good. Listen, I'm a book publisher. We want to do that to get messages out there. But the people that I'm looking for, and the people I know that folks like Pastor Hank are looking for to raise up and train, that type of thing, we're not looking for those who aspire to be celebrities. I'm looking for those who are friends of the Father and who, above all, want to see the one who is seated upon the throne. Those are the ones. There is nothing that God cannot do through a son, through a daughter, who, like John in Revelation 4, accepts the invitation to come up here and actually see from that vantage point, and above all, see the one seated on the throne. So this book, I believe, is such an invaluable contribution to the prophetic movement. I believe it's going to be such a discipling tool. It's going to help us go to the next level. And the next level is, above all, being completely consumed with seeing, beholding, and enjoying Jesus, the one seated on the throne. All that said, as we kind of finish up, Pastor Hank, any
Sure.
final thoughts, words of encouragement that you would say to the fine folks watching and listening?
Yeah, I want to encourage the people with something. I want you to get this book because it will help you to understand true prophets, wrong prophets, false prophets. I talk about horn prophets. What's that? I talk about how to hear from the throne room, how to sharpen your gift. I mean, those are all things that we want to learn. But I just want to close with something that I feel like is in my heart that I want to just encourage you with. There's been a lot of harshness upon the earth right now, but there is something that God is speaking right now specifically upon the body of Christ. And he told me about 2021. He said, it's not going to be 2021, the number one, but it'll be 2021, WON. There's a celebration. There is a victory that is coming to God's people and to the earth. And don't get your eyes on all of the doom and gloom and the fear that's happened. I understand it's real. I understand hell is raging and absolutely mad. However, God has picked a fight. And God always wins any fight that he picks. And you're going to be part of something that is going to be the awe of God. So I want you to be encouraged. Try to tune into the throne room and less to the media and all the chatter that's out there, because you're going to see more and more, as crazy as things are in the earth, there is coming a season of order and rest and an amazing awakening that shall be filled with the glory of God. That's the season we're in. And I want to encourage you, please, throne room prophecy, fall in love with the one on the throne, and then learn how to be an accurate vessel that shares his secrets. And then also, I want you to learn, about prophets. And if you are a prophet, I want to take it to a whole nother level. And so, Larry, thank you for the honor of giving me this opportunity to put this into the hands of God's people. I'm very grateful for you, and I'm grateful for the publishing honor to do this. So thank you.
It's a joy. It's a joy, Pastor Hank. Again, Throne Room Prophecy is available now. I believe it'll be a blessing to you. And again, a wonderful, invaluable, essential resource to add to your prophetic library, as our friend Jim Baker would say, to your last days library. Because you know what? In the last days, I know we have a lot of different perspectives. There's a lot of different specifics we could focus on, debate on, discuss. But I can give you one surefire prophetic word about the last days. In the last days, God said, I'll pour out my spirit
Amen.
on all flesh, and your sons and daughters shall prophesy. And we want to make sure the sons and the daughters, which is all of us really, can prophesy correctly. And that means before we speak, before we prophesy, we make sure that we hear his heart and we hear his voice. Pastor Hank, thank you so much,
Thank you,
sir.
Larry.
Always a joy.
Yes, same here, sir. Thank you very much.
And thank you guys for watching and listening. We look forward to coming back to you, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
God bless you.